Okay, this is part 2 of the haunting on Chisholm Trail, and I'm just going to recount a few instances during this time that involved other people. My husband and I had gone to Houston to pick up his children. It was his weekend for his children, so we were picking them up in Houston and bringing them back. And his parents had come to stay at our house for that weekend so that they could visit with the children. So we're in Houston, and it had gotten so late and we were really tired that we decided to spend the night just right outside of Houston and get up real early in the morning and return home. Well, when we returned back home, we came in, and I took one look at my husband's father, my father-in-law, and I said to him, "My God, are you okay? You look sick. You look awful." And he did. He just looked weary. He looked a little confused. He just didn't seem like himself. And he said, "Well, we've been up all night long." Now, these people are in their 60s probably. And I said, "Well, why were you up all night?" And he said, "Well, we went to bed." And he said, about midnight, we heard the kitchen door open and all these people came in. And we could hear them out there. And we thought that you and our son decided to come back early and not spend the night in Houston, and we thought you had come back and you were bringing the kids and a whole bunch of other people with you. So we got up and we got dressed and we went out in the kitchen, and there was nobody out there. So he said that he thought that he must have been a party in the neighborhood somewhere, although there weren't too many homes that were close to ours. Anyway, they went back to bed. They were awakened again. And the same thing happened. They hear the kitchen door open, and here comes this group of people very joyfully coming in and having a party in the kitchen. So he decided that time he wouldn't get dressed. He would just go out there and check to make sure that somebody had come in, and there wasn't a soul out there. So again, he goes back to bed. And again, the door opens about an hour later. By this time, it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And he decides that he got up, he went out there, and there's nobody out there. So he came back in the bedroom, got dressed, and decided he was going to find this party wherever it was, and it was somewhere in the neighborhood. So he spent the next 30, 40 minutes looking around the neighborhood, trying to find this party that didn't exist. So he came back, they went back to bed, and again, this is like the 4th time, the door opens, and in our house comes this group of people. They can hear all this goings on out in the kitchen in this little sitting area that's off of the kitchen. Well, they decided at that point not to even bother to get up, because they knew that when they walked out there, there would be nobody out there. Sometime after this, we went on vacation, and we took my husband's parents and his children on vacation. And we went to Cozumel. And we spent about a week there, and we asked this good friend of ours to house sit for us while we were gone and feed our cats and so forth and take care of the house. So he did. He came and moved in for about a week with his little dog. When we got back from vacation and landed in Austin, and we started driving back home, we called him to tell him we were on our way home. When we pulled up our driveway, he was standing outside with his overnight bag, or his suitcase with his clothes in it, holding his dog. And when we got out of the car, he very angrily and indignantly said to us, "Don't ever ask me to do this again." And he stormed off into his car, threw his stuff in his car, and left. And later on, I called him, and I said, "What was that all about?" And he said, "Well, I don't know if you know it or not, but you do not live in this house, just your family." He said, "There's a whole bunch of other people that live here with you." Well, that made sense to us. And he was very upset. He wouldn't even share with me what had happened while he was staying there. The other thing that happened was that we received a phone call one day, and it was the owner. See, we were just renting this house. And it was the owners of the house, and they told us that they were going to be visiting Wimberley that weekend. And I said, "That's great. Come on over to the house. If you come over Sunday, I'll make a big Sunday brunch for all of us." So they said that would be wonderful. So I made an enormous amount of food for 4 people. Anyway, they arrived, and we had a big circular driveway. They came up the circular driveway and parked directly in front of the house. And I had everything laid out. It was around 11 o'clock in the morning. The man got out of the one side, the driver's side of the car, and he walked around the back of the car to the passenger side. He opened the door for his wife, and he was elderly. He was probably in his 70s, and I think she was in her early 60s. Anyway, he opened the door for his wife, shut the door. She turned around, and she stopped on the sidewalk in front of our house, the entrance to our house. And she just started looking up at the house. And then all of a sudden, she got this horrified look on her face. And I was inside, so I didn't hear the shrillness of her scream. But she just looked at the house and she started going, this is what she looked like. And she starts screaming like you can't believe. Her husband gets a hold of her, opens the door, whisks her back into the car, shuts the door. He gets around the other side, gets in the driver's side, and they leave. And I looked at my husband and I said, what was that about? Well, about 5 minutes later, the phone rings and it's them. And the husband says, Kim, we're really sorry. We're not going to be able to make it. You know, we did come up to the house and we got out, but my wife has such fond memories of the house, and she misses it so much that she just couldn't bear to come inside. And I'm on the phone and I'm thinking, well, this does not match what I saw coming out of this woman's mouth. But I very graciously said, that's okay, we'll do it another time, but thanks for calling. Hung up. So I'm going to stop here because it's really going to take me a while to really tell you the end of this story, which is, this is one of those stories that movies are made out of. So thanks a lot for watching, and I guess we're into part 3 of the Haunting on Chisholm Trail now. So come back and join me for the conclusion of this story. Thanks for watching.